Fist flying, no bounds. Podcast kings, we pound for pound. UFC thrills, spills, nights get loud. Big EQB, that's how we get down.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GRP. Back at it again on a Thursday, and I'm home. I am home. I made it back. I am not in a stupid hotel room, and I'm watching some fights at the moment. The PFL World Tournament is on. The tournament finals are happening right now, actually. And last week I think it was on Friday. And then this week, of course, it's on Thursday. Tersey. No, not vacation, Tersey. It was work. I was in New Mexico, unfortunately. And I only say that because it was for work. I don't get to go anywhere fun when it comes to work. I have to stay in Roswell. So, and I mean, I guess that could be fun, but when you work late days, it's I don't know. It's not very fun. But yeah, it was a short trip. So I thought I was going to have to podcast from there, but I got lucky and I was able to finish everything and I got back in time. So I'm here, ready to go. We got the PFL World Tournament Finals on right now. I turned it on earlier when I was finishing up my prep stuff here and getting things ready to go. And then yeah, I forgot about it. So I was out there like doing stuff and I forgot that the fights were on, so I missed some of them. But right now, it's the co-main event. Romanov versus Popov in the fourth round, about to end. Going into the fifth, we got a minute 20 left. But yeah, the Saturday cards are definitely early. I'm still trying to figure out if I want to get up and watch it live or not. And if I do, I'm going to make it worth it and do a watch party. But I just don't know. I got to see how my Friday night goes. It's going to be a game time moment, I guess. If I go to bed and say fuck it, I'm not gonna do it, then I won't do it. But if I go to bed with the intention of getting up, maybe I'll get up and do that. The start time for the Saturday card, it depends on where you're at, obviously, because of what do you call it, time zones. But for me, the main card starts at 3 a.m. So I'm in Arizona. I don't know where you guys are. Tua, what's up? Welcome back. Tua says 6 a.m. So if he's in the same area as you, there you go. Yeah, I mean, 6 a.m. would be no doubt whatsoever. If it was 6 a.m. for me, I would definitely wake up and do a watch party because I'm usually up within the 6 o'clock hour anyway. I'm in the East Coast, though. Yeah, that's what I figured because everybody I've heard talk about it from the East Coast is like, oh, 6 a.m., that's fine. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's still early, but, that's not so early. But for 3 a.m. here for me in Arizona, that's we'll see what happens Friday night kind of deal. Because if I decide to hang out somewhere and have some drinks, it might be a little tough. Unless I stay up all night, and then I might be a little sloppy. Thursday, the fight starts when your owner covers the lid. Oh, shit. The trash talk is started. So yeah, anyway, we got the UFC Shanghai card happening on Saturday, early Saturday, as you just saw the interaction about that going on. So don't forget about that because these are the times that people do forget that the fight's on early. So I'll be telling people, did you guys watch the fights this morning? And they're like, this morning? Thought it was later. No, it is this morning when it's Saturday, obviously. So we'll see what happens. If you're not subscribed and you don't have that notification bell clicked, make sure you do that right now because I might pop up with a watch party early. And if not, you can watch it later in the day. But if, it's just a matter of whether I do it or not. So be subscribed and have that notification bell clicked so that way you know when I put out content or go live. Anyway, yeah, so I made it back. If you do a watch party that early. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. That early, it might not bring a lot of views. Who knows who'll be up. What are you going to eat for breakfast? I don't know. Probably nothing. When I'm in here by myself, I'm usually drinking though. I don't know if I can drink at 3 a.m. I mean, I could, but I don't know if I want to. It might just be some energy drinks. We'll see what happens. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I got back from out of town. I'm here, ready to go and to preview this UFC Shanghai card. We had some other news come through the wire here over the past couple days. Some boxing news, some UFC fights, some big fights announced. The PFL World Tournament's going on right now. Noctane for breakfast. Yeah, there would be a lot of Noctane involved. But then what else? I think that was about it, really. So yeah, anyway, let's get to the Noctane now that Infinity brings it up, because I definitely need it right now. I'm feeling kind of tired. A couple days of nonstop driving. Just gonna watch the last 3 fights of the main card. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, those are some good fights. For those last 3. The Sumadarji Kevin Borjas fight looks like it's gonna be a good one too. So I guess the top 4 I'm really looking forward to. The whole main card's not bad though. Of course, the prelim card has a lot of guys that people might not know, but at the same time, you got Michel Pereira down there with Kyle Dawkins, Austin Hubbard versus Rong Zhu. Yeah, Sumadarji by sub, that's a good call to Charles Johnson, Loner Kavanaugh. I mean, shit, there's actually pretty good fucking fights all the way through this. The prelims might be pretty dope actually with all those names I just spit out there. I feel like it has potential. So we'll get into all of it here in just a minute. Let me give a shout out to my sponsor, Noctane Smelling Salts. Of course, we got the most potent bottle here. Take a quick whiff of this as I'm watching we got 3 minutes and 10 seconds left of the 5th round for this Romanov versus Popov fight in the PFL. Rong Zhu. Tua says, "Oh shit, I'm like scared to open it. I feel some pressure, and I feel like it's gonna hit me right away. I gotta turn off that fan because otherwise it goes away. All right, here we go. Oh, oh, thank God it went on that side. Oh man, I hit this once as I was at a stoplight, leaving like getting onto the freeway in New Mexico, and it about took me out. I I hit it so hard I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be awake. Would you get that amp up for a workout? You think it's better than pre-workouts? What's it smell like? Aroma, flavor, scent. So yeah, Terzi, actually Noctane Smelling Salt is good for power lifters. Actually use it a lot. They're kind of the ones that brought it to light, it seems like. So yeah, it adds to pre-workout. Yeah, people take it to get a quick adrenaline rush, and stuff like that, because of the way this, that's what smelling salts are supposed to do, wake you up, like if you get knocked out and stuff like that. That's the medical use. But anyway, yeah, they're good for they're definitely good for a workout, I think, and a lot of people use it for that, but I use it to stay awake and alert, obviously, when I'm driving long distances. Tua asked what the smell is like, or the aroma. It's this one. I told him to surprise me. He said he had some new scents coming out. This one is black pepper, which I wasn't expecting something like that. He said he had some new ones that were pretty good. But Clark, that was in here for the watch party, he had the spearmint, or was it spearmint? No. Yeah, maybe it was spearmint or something like that. Infinity says death. Didn't they just ban smelling salts in the NFL? Probably. I think they did. Which is kind of nuts. I mean, you would think, but you can't use them in fights either. I guess it's considered a performance enhancer because it boosts your adrenaline. It gives you a quick adrenaline rush. And, you do feel it, but also it kind of hinders you a little bit. Your eyes get watery, you're a little out of it for just a couple seconds. So, maybe you take both and make them count each other out, and then let it be legal. Who gives a shit? Anyway, thank you, Noctane, for the sponsorship, of course. I appreciate that. This is a local product for me, but if you go to their website, scan that QR code or go to the description in the link below, you can see that they have proudly sponsoring the Going Rounds podcast at the bottom of their page, and you can check out their page and all the information. So thank you, Noctane. Drickus needs to move to light heavyweight. I don't know. I don't know that he's going to win, though, if he stays in middleweight with Hamzat there, because he may have hung in there for all 5 rounds and had a little bit of a good time in that 5th round. I don't know that he can ever beat Chimaev. It's one of those things. This fight went to decision. It wasn't that exciting. It didn't look like for the PFL. He can have fun fights striking up there, and he's massive. Yeah, but I don't, he's massive for the weight class now. I don't know that he'll be massive for the 205 weight class. You know what I mean? Because all those guys could move up to heavyweight. So you got to think about that, and you got to remember that everybody cuts weight. But some of these guys do well moving up. I mean, Hamza moved up into 185. That's probably where he belonged in the first place, and he was just killing himself doing those weight cuts. So a lot of times that's what's needed. So maybe he could go up. You never know. But anyway, that is it for all of that, and we can get to talking about what we're here to talk about. Yuri Dricus. Oh, actually, that is a damn good point, Terzi. Yuri versus Dricus, because Yuri is big, but he's not like massive. Because I feel like he's tall, but he's not like thick, massive. You know what I mean? So that might be a good one, actually. Maybe he could hang in the light heavyweight division. I don't know. Him and Yuri with those two awkward styles would be, it would probably be a fun fight to watch, but it might also be very sloppy. But I'd be down to watch it. That's for sure. I don't know that he's going to move up, though. I think he has something in front of him that's a challenge. And I think that he's going to try to overcome that, because that's kind of the kind of guy Dricus seems like. And he took it all in good stride. He wasn't a bad sport about it. And he knew that he was dominated and he couldn't do anything. So he took it well. Maybe that's a good sign that he's like, hey, I got to work on this. I'm just going to laugh it off for now and get to work later. So that might be it. But that's not a bad fight, though. Yuri versus Dricus, that could be good. So not a bad point there. Anyway, yeah, I think that's about it. Everything else, yeah, we'll get into everything else here in just a minute. So let's start off with something I know you guys are going to fucking love. We'll start this off right by talking about Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis. What the actual fuck? They already weighed in for Shanghai. Oh yeah, I know. That's the weird shit about the international cards like that, when they're putting them in the right time for them. Dude, how is this fight even allowed? 60 pounds difference? Well, supposedly as of right now, it's an exhibition. I know that fucking Jake is gonna find a way to try to make it a legitimate legal sanctioned fight. I don't know how they could do it though, because like you said, 60 pounds difference, I don't see how that works. Snake Paul. Yeah, Infinity said better than 40-year difference. Exactly. So the weight difference is one thing, because Tank Davis obviously has the skills. He's faster. He's going to be able to, it's going to be hard to hit him, but it's also going to be hard for him to hit Jake. So it's going to be tough. Tua says, I like this fight. Jake going to come in heavy. Are you a Jake Paul fan? What the fuck? What happened to Anthony Joshua? Now he's fighting flat. Yeah, so that was exactly my point, Terzi, I was about to make, but let me read what Jake Paul said. He said, Gervonta, who has been disrespecting my name for too long, his nickname might be Tank, but I'm an FPV drone and I'm about to disable Tiny Boy. Yes, he's one of the top pound for pound boxers in the world, but my motto is anyone, anytime, any place, fucking liar, against all odds, and I like my odds. First, I'm going to kill David, and then I will go on to slaughter Goliath. Goliath meaning Anthony Joshua, I think. I think that's what he's saying. I can't stand Jake Paul, but I like how he promotes the fighters in his stable. That is the truth. He does support the fighters a lot. He's always anyone, anytime, any place. Lost to Tommy Fury. Yeah, but remember, all his fights are legit. You can't say that they're not, because if you do, you might get some legal action taken against you. And actually, to be honest with you, though, I all jokes aside, I've never once said that it is rigged or anything like that. So I thought Tyron Woodley was gonna beat the shit out of Jake. Yeah, I thought so too. But it didn't happen. We saw what happened with that. And the second fight, well, the second fight where he gets, that's just, that was a late notice fight. That's just how that goes. I don't know, but it is what it is. Woodley took the bag for sure. That's exactly what it was. But I mean, Woodley went out there and tried. I mean, Woodley was at the end of his, I mean, he's not in his prime. He wasn't in his prime. And we saw that in the UFC at the end of his career there. So, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, maybe he could come back for some other fights, but I mean, he's never going to be a champ again. And we saw that kind of getting out of the UFC. So going into boxing, it's a whole different story. And while everyone says MMA fights are like real fights, that's true. But also, boxing is called the sweet science for a reason. And when you're training nothing but boxing, you don't have to worry about all the elbows. You don't have to worry about the knees, the legs, or, you know, the kicks, the submissions, the takedowns. So when you're focusing on that, it's hard to get into that when you are just starting a camp and you're going to do like a 6, 8, 12 week camp. I mean, you're not going to learn that in 6 months. You're not going to be at a high level in 6 months in boxing, regardless of the fact that you're fighting in MMA. That's just the way I've seen it happen. And that's just my take on it. That's my opinion. But anyway, this fight is interesting. I mean, the leaked stuff that happened was that it was going to be on Saturday, November 15th, but that's not going to happen because that's supposedly going to be when the UFC is at Madison Square Garden in New York. That they always do the fight in New York at MSG in November. So, and that, according to what Ariel Helwani was talking about, is that they looked up the scheduling and stuff at MSG, and you know, hockey's going on the week before, so there's only 2 weekends that it could possibly be, and they're probably going to be there on the 15th. So when they fully announced it, they said Friday, November 14th. So it's happening on a Friday, the day before the UFC. There's no way they're going to go head to head with a big UFC pay-per-view card that is going to be at MSG. So that's what's happening here. I don't know how this is going to go down, man, because we've seen the likes of other fighters going up against Mayweather, you know, in legit fights like Conor McGregor. But like I said, Jake Paul has been doing nothing but boxing, training, fighting, all of it. He's dedicated his life right now to boxing. So this could be different. And Gervonta Davis is a different kind of fighter as well. He's got power, but does he have power against a big guy like Jake? I don't know. 60-pound difference, whatever you want to call it. There's a big size difference here, but there's also a big experience difference and all of that. Basketball player Nate Robinson washed Askren, washed Woodley. Love Island celeb Fury washed Silva, washed Diaz. Actual 60-year-old Tyson, now a guy who's 60 pounds less. Yeah, all of that's true. And that's the thing, you know, he just fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., right? And he beat him. It wasn't spectacular, but he beat him. Then he goes off and gets fucking ranked by WBC. So how you gonna go? You're talking about wanting to go and be a legit boxer, get ranked, and fight for a championship. But then you turn around and do this, where it's supposedly a exhibition. Why would you turn around and fight in an exhibition match? Sure, you want to keep busy, whatever. For that money, I'll get in there. Yeah. Forgot about that fight I didn't watch. Was that guy even good though? No, I mean, Chavez Jr., I mean, he was good back in the day for a bit, but he's never been focused. As Tua said, Jake called ice on Cesar Chavez Jr. Oh shit.
Damn, son.
Exhibition is a good idea, especially with smaller fighter as talented and dangerous as Tank. But that's the point. He's over here trying to talk about being ranked, talking about wanting to be a champion, a legit champion in boxing. He's on that path fighting other boxers and stuff, but they don't bring in the money, they don't bring in the eyes. I know that this is why he's doing this. Exhibition against Tank is good for that reason. Yes, I agree to it, but the thing is why are you gonna say you're on that path and then start doing this kind of shit? Just like with Mike Tyson and all of that. Jake might not get super embarrassed, but he gonna get to feel current world champion. Yeah, And I mean, he's taking the smallest chances possible, right? But he's taking a chance fighting a guy that's as talented as Gervonta Davis. We'll see if it even makes it there, though. That's the thing. We know Tank Davis, he just got arrested not that long ago. So we know he can't stay out of trouble. We know some shit always goes down with Jake Paul fights. You know, look at Mike Tyson. Look at fucking Chavez Jr. after the fight. There's always some shit going down. I know for a fact they signed contracts to keep that fight going the distance or end in certain rounds. Always. All right. Those are the thoughts of King Terzi, not me. Just so you know. I wish Tank would stay out of trouble. Yeah, I wish he would too, because he's too fucking talented. But that's the problem, is he's too talented, but he also has the money, and he's made that money and off of that talent, and you know, he still lives that life of the baby mama drama, the, you know, getting involved in the stupid shit that he doesn't need to be involved with. Tank needs to get out of Cincinnati. Oh, well, there you go. But yeah, come on, man. First of all, you're a fucking professional boxer. You shouldn't be putting your hands on any woman. You shouldn't be putting your hands on any woman any goddamn way, no matter how fucking stupid she's getting, unless she's coming at you with a knife or some shit. Otherwise, you don't need to handle it like that. So stop putting, I mean, I know he's little and all, maybe his girl's bigger than him, and he's like, hey, it's a fair fight.
Bruh.
I don't know, man, but he needs to fucking stop. That's all I'm saying. And yeah, he needs to focus. But that's it. Maybe this will be, he knows he's gonna make, you know, he's gonna get a bag for this one, of course, but is he gonna take it seriously? I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. You know, Jake Paul's gonna try to act like he's taking it as serious as he's ever taken anything. Maybe he is. Who knows? But it's going down November 14th on a Friday on Netflix for free. We're gonna watch it for free because we all have Netflix. You pay for it anyway, so it's basically free. So let's see what happens. Let's see if they make it there. Let's see if there's no cancellations. I could see Tank Davis saying, I got a bigger, you know, I got bigger fish to fry, and decide that he's gonna fucking take a different fight. Someone's gonna tell him, let's get out of this. Who knows? Anyway, moving on. PFL World Tournament. We have that happening right now. They were just having some kind of musical guest on right now, getting what we paid for. But we just saw Oleg Popov versus Alexander Romanov. Popov gets the win by a split decision. And before that, we had Antonio Carlos Jr. versus Sullivan Cauley. Carlos Jr. gets a rear naked choke in the second round. Sway Lee. Oh yeah, it was Sway Lee. I couldn't think of the fucking name. That's why I said some musical guest. I couldn't think of the name. I had just seen it too. Alexei Pergande versus Ethan Gross. Pergande gets the submission by Darce choke in the first round. Lazaro Dairon versus Bryce Meredith. Dairon gets the TKO in the third round. Impa Kasangane, former UFC fighter, former champion in PFL, gets the TKO win in the third round as well over Andrew Sanchez. Rasul Magomedov versus Guilherme Viana, unanimous decision for Magomedov. Sergey Bilosteiny versus Carl Williams. Bilosteiny gets the TKO win in the second round there in the heavyweight division. Josh Silveira versus Murad Ramazanov. Silveira gets the win in the middleweight division by unanimous decision. And then JP St. Louis versus Tyler Ray. St. Louis gets the unanimous decision win there. So that's your PFL World Tournament wrap up for now. We have the main event left. Fabian Edwards, former UFC champion Leon Edwards' brother, fighting in the main event against Dalton Rasta for the middleweight championship in the tournament. And yeah, this looks like it could be a good fight here, so we'll see what happens. If you see me looking up, it's because I got the TV on right above me, and I'll be watching to see what happens throughout that. So that's your PFL tournament finals wrap up there. We'll see what happens, and I'll announce who the winner is as soon as that happens. Moving on to some matchups that were announced recently. this week, we had some big announcements for fights in the UFC. Manon Fiorot versus Jasmine Jasudavicius. That's a hell of a fight right there. Because both these, I mean, obviously Fiorot fought for the title and lost, but let's see. Let me get to but Jasudavicius has been on a roll, so this should be a damn good fight, honestly. He lost to Valentina Shevchenko in May. I couldn't remember the damn date. Sterling out, weight issue. Wait, what? Really? Man, I have been caught up today, and I did not even know that. I knew that the weight, I thought I saw everybody was locked in. Now I gotta look. Did you just see that, or did you see that from earlier? Missed weight for the official fight while he has been involved in a I'm not seeing defend themselves again. I don't see anything about that. Championship rounds posted 13 minutes ago on X. What the fuck, man? Hold on. I gotta look real quick before we get to these fights, because I had not seen that. Well, 13 minutes ago makes sense because I would have been on here. Let's see. This is oh shit. Yeah. Aljamain Sterling due to a weight cut canceled. There goes that fucking main card. Honestly, that was like the fight I was looking forward to the most. That fucking sucks. This is what sucks about going live too, by the way, because then you miss shit like this. I don't have everything pulled up in front of me. I would have had to have been on my phone, which I'm usually trying to stay off of when I'm getting ready to do the show. But sometimes that bites me in the ass, like this time. Let's see. Man, that fucking sucks. All right, well, I was trying to see if I could get any other kind of updates, but I'm not seeing anything. And that's the only thing. I mean, that's the thing about this. Okay, yeah, Brian Ortega is out of his fight due to a weight cut. Fight is canceled. Weight issue. Why does it say Brian Ortega is out of his co-main event? I hate when they don't put the... So was it Brian Ortega or was it Aljamain that had, I need to be the guy who updates you in your life? Yeah, no shit. You can definitely be the one to do that. I'm trying to fucking find anything that tells me. Man, I don't know. That was the fight I was looking forward to the most, though. I kind of felt like that fight was overshadowing a bit the main event. So that's a goddamn shame. And yeah, fuck. I'm pissed about that one. And that throws off my, I can't do anything about the prep work I already did, so it is what it is. We're just gonna have to skip that one. Anyway, getting back to this. Son of a bitch, man. Manon Fiorot coming off of a title loss where she fought Valentina Shevchenko back in May. Jasmine Jasudavicius is on a 5-fight win streak. 3 out of those 5 fights she had performance of the night bonuses, and that was against Jessica Andrade, Ariana Lipski, and Priscilla Cachueta. The other 2 fights was Fatima Klein and Mayra Bueno Silva. She had some finishes. 3 out of those 5 were finishes for Jasmine Jasudavicius. Her last loss was to Tracy Cortez by unanimous decision. So I mean, yeah, she hasn't had a loss since 2023. She's been on a 5-fight win streak against Manon Fiorot, who's a beast as well. She was also on a pretty big win streak. She was undefeated in the UFC until she fought Valentina for the title in May and lost. So that's a big fight right there. Next up, we got Kevin Holland versus Mike Malott. This is all happening in Vancouver on October 18th. So that should be a good fight. Mike Malott is one of those guys that likes to come forward and put pressure. And we know Holland likes to fight his fight. So if he gets frustrated, Mike Malott can take advantage of that and really put some work in against Holland. But if Holland comes out looking like he has in his past few fights, I mean, he can do some work too. He tends to make guys like Malott look bad. If it's not the highest level of guys, Holland has trouble. Or Holland does well. Holland only has trouble with the higher level guys, basically. Then we got Chito Vera coming back against Aiemann Zahabi, Faraz Zahabi's brother. If you don't know who Faraz Zahabi is, he's the former coach of George St. Pierre. He's coached a lot of other, pretty good names in the UFC. So we got his brother fighting Chito Vera. That should be a damn good fight. And then the biggest one, RDR, Rainier de Ritter versus Fluffy Hernandez, happening in October. That should be a damn good one. It's going to be one of those ones that, depending on how it goes, could possibly show us who's going to fight Khamzat Chimaev next. And I think both these guys would be a damn good matchup for Chimaev. But the thing I see with that is, I mean, a lot of people are saying RDR has more of a chance against Chimaev, but I don't know, because if he goes, if he stands and bangs with Chimaev, we've seen Chimaev do some work there, or he could just get taken down quickly, just like DDP did. But de Ritter's better on the ground than DDP is, and I feel like he would be able to get out of those bad situations. And Hernandez is just one of those guys, man, that is fucking good all over, and he definitely has a chance. I feel like Fluffy has the best chance against Chimaev, but he also is one of those guys that we haven't seen. Yep, now I'm getting updates on eggs in our chat for Combat Sports Today. Son of a bitch, man. Anyway, yeah, I feel like Fluffy has a great chance against Chimaev. I think right now, on the streak that he's on and the way his fights have been going, I feel like he has the best chance against Chimaev. But I just don't know if any of these guys have what it takes to beat Chimaev, honestly. If Chimaev just wants to dominate on the ground like he did against RDR, but maybe he won't feel the danger like he did against, did I say RDR? I meant DDP. All these damn names. But if maybe he felt the danger coming from DDP and he knows what he can do, maybe he felt the strength and thought, hey, I better just hold him down. So I don't know. I mean, Brendan Schaub brought up a good point about that. Brendan Schaub thinks that none of the 4 guys that are up to fight Chimaev next have any chance against him, and that Chimaev will finish him quick. He just thinks that DDP had what it takes, and showed right away Chimaev that he was dangerous. So yeah, I don't know. I agree with that halfway. But I do think Fluffy or RDR probably have the best chance, because then we got Imavov and who's the other fucking man? Josh Emmett stepping in. Just saw a tweet from him. Oh, Josh Emmett versus. So who? Seeing Ortega fell from weight cut. Thank you, Terzi. That's exactly what I was about to ask. Who was it, Ortega or Ortega? Man, what the fuck? Like Eljo, I didn't understand that one, because Eljo's in great shape and he went up a weight class, so I didn't see him like. But Ortega's just had some issues, and I don't understand him. Like, he has such good potential, but there's always something getting in the way for him. If it's not his personal life, Cortez in his head, I guess. Oh shit. There's just always something with Ortega though, man. I fucking hate that, because I like Ortega. I always have. But man, fuck, that sucks. But Josh Emmett coming in to fight Aljamain. Eljo gets hit. And if he gets hit by Josh Emmett, I don't think it's gonna be a Bryce Mitchell situation, but we've seen Eljo get hurt, so that could be tough. Anyway, yeah, this is a good lineup here for these fights that were announced. There was a few other ones as well, looking like for the fight nights. October 11th. So we got Denise versus Pinto, Pilastri versus Kovacevic, Davison Figueiredo versus Jackson, Who else? Vicente Luque versus Ponzinibbio, and then Vitor Petrino versus Peterson. Those are all happening on the week before this fight. So the 11th and the 18th got a bunch of announcements happening for those 2 fight nights. Not too bad. Next up, we got Dana White's Contender Series that happened this past Tuesday. And yeah, man, we had 5 matchups and all 5 winners got contracts, which is a big change from what happened the week before, where Dana White was just pissed and did not like anything that was happening with the first week of fights. So let me get to this because I totally forgot to man, what the hell happened here? I'm still stuck on this Aljo fight being fucking Brian Ortega, man. Son of a bitch. Let me get to this real fast. Okay, here we go. So we had Jose Delano versus Manuel Exposito. That was a pretty damn good fight, man. That was the last fight on the card. Delano gets the win by unanimous decision, but he definitely showed up and showed out. He did damn good, but Exposito did too. He hung in there. It was a hard fight, man, all the way through, and it was exciting. It was entertaining, and Dana White gave Delano the contract, but he said he'll keep Exposito in the back of his head for the fact that he fought so well that maybe he can jump in on a late notice. Championship rounds post about Emmett, you think that means he's stepping in? Usually if people are posting about it, if Emmett posted about it, maybe so. But I mean, it's Shanghai. Unless Emmett was there already, maybe he was there cornering somebody, or he's on someone's team. So maybe he was there ready to go. If that's the case, that would be damn good. So that way Aljo can still fight. We still have a good co-main event. But I haven't seen anything yet. The Combat Sports Today guys are usually on top of this shit. Power is flickering here due to storms. Gonna drop off just in case. Well, I'll assume get the bugs worked out on my cast. Okay, sounds good, Infinity. Thanks for jumping in. Oh, nasty nut shot to Fabian Edwards. Oh, damn, he's in some pain. Oh, that was nasty. I actually caught that as it happened. Later, Infinity. So then we had Cam Rouston versus Brandon Holmes. That was a TKO win for Rouston in the first round. Elbows to knees. Elbows and knee. He got the win there. TKO by punches for Lewis Lee Scott, who gets the contract against Kaushik Sakimar in the third round. Gets that TKO win there. Josh Hockett versus Guillermo Uriel. Hockett gets the TKO win in the second round. This fucking dude, Josh Hockett, though, he's along the lines of Sean Strickland and Colby Covington with the shit talking and the fucking just overconfidence. He's like a mix of both of them in the worst ways. This dude, I guess he played in the NFL, and I don't know, I never heard of him. And he talked all kinds of shit about all the heavyweights being just a bunch of fat, lazy, fucking slow guys. But he looked kind of fat and lazy and slow too. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, he had a really good first round, and then he gets the win a minute and 6 seconds into the second round. But that finishing sequence, he looked like he was getting tired already. So he's talking all this shit, and he's that dude that puts his hood on and his hat low, and he's not even looking at anybody while he's talking all this shit. So I don't know, he just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I hate fucking dudes like that. Like, it's cool to talk some shit, but do it in a creative way. Don't just come up there in your corny ass fucking bullshit way of talking. Like, this dude, I don't know, man. And the kind of shit that he's talking is super annoying too. So he just rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't like him much. This guy Dalton Rasta, who's fighting Fabian Edwards, has some fucking tree trunks for legs. Holy shit. And that's probably why that kick to the nuts fucking hurt Fabian Edwards so much. But yeah, Hockett, I don't know. Everyone's saying you need to watch out for him in the heavyweight division, but he's 6-0. I mean, he only has 6 fucking fights, and he's talking all this shit. So I hope that he either gets humbled quickly or maybe he will be a superstar. Who knows? But I wasn't impressed. But that's just me. I mean, I'm not too big on the guys that are fucking like that. And it's not for any other reason than the fact that it's just like you talked all that shit and you know, what are you gonna do with it? So we'll see. He doesn't look like the type of dude that's gonna be able to capitalize on all of it, but I'm not sure. And then the last one was a TKO win for Ramiro Jimenez versus Tommy Kuozi. So those are your winners for Dana White's Contender Series that happened on Tuesday. All of the winners got contracts, and yeah, it was a lot better of a night than the first night. So we had 3 out of the 5 winners were undefeated, and it looked like 3 out of the 5 losers were undefeated previously. So breaking fight is on. Whoa, what fight? Man, Terzi's just fucking breaking news left and right, man. Which fight? Ortega versus Aljamain or Emmett versus Aljamain? I mean, X. I'm just waiting for the update. Is it Emmett versus Aljo or? See, I can't sit here and keep up with X because then I'll just be staring at my phone. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything yet, but I also. All right, well, Terzi, you can let me know. Let me see. I'm gonna look real fast. And you know what sucks? I'm not on a fight now at 150. Oh, okay. So Ortega versus Aljo at 155. All right, I'll take it. Because I wanted to see that fight. So that's a good fight. Let's do it. Okay, cool. Thank you, Terzi. I appreciate that. Ortega just weighed in. We will take that for sure. Fuck yeah. That's what I like. At least we still get the fight. It sucks that he missed weight, but here, let's move into this because this is what we're talking about anyway. It sucks that he missed the weight, and they're not, you know, happening. It's not happening at the weight class that they initially were supposed to be at, but that's all right. At least we still get the fight. But how much did the weight cut hurt Ortega? Because that's the problem with him, is he has things like this happen and it affects him too much in the fight. So we'll see. Aljamain's not really a knockout artist, but he can hurt you for sure. And Ortega, we've seen him take a fucking fuckload of damage, and then with the weight cut on top of that being bad, it's a bit scary. It makes you wonder what we're gonna get out of this and how it's gonna go down. But as of right now, it sounds like the fight's on at 155, so maybe that'll help him, and hopefully he can hydrate back up and do well. So we got the main event though, with Johnny Walker versus Ming Yang Zhang, or Zhang Ming Yang, whichever way you want to say it. I believe it's Ming Yang Zhang, the way they say it, I guess. But everyone in the US says Zhang Ming Yang. I don't know. It's tough, but that's about how a lot of these fights are gonna go, or a lot of these names. But we got this one's tough because Johnny Walker is one of those guys, you never know what you're gonna get out of him. Holy shit, these fools are throwing in the second round. 4 minutes and 15 seconds left in the second round. Edwards versus Rasta. It's getting dangerous in there. There's definitely some action. Okay, they tied up, so all right. Anyway, yeah, so I mean, Johnny Walker, he the high flying, you know, kicks and punches and just antics sometimes get him in trouble and sometimes do well for him. So you never know. Zhang is one of those guys though that can definitely take the fight to him. He's 3-0 in the UFC, and this could be an exciting quick fight, or you know, we could just get a war. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a good one though. So we'll get to that here in just a minute. We just talked about Ortega versus Sterling. First it was off, then it was a possible Emmett stepping in, and now the fight's back on, just at a different weight, a higher weight at 155. So we'll take it. At least the fight's still on and it doesn't fuck up my prep too much. So let's see what happens here. I'm gonna see if they changed it yet on. No, it still says 145 here, but that's all right. As long as we know the fight's still going, we'll take that. Thanks for updating me, Terzi. I appreciate that. Let's get to these prelims and take a look at what we got going on in the prelims, starting with that right side picture, or starting from the bottom. We got Urin Sadibaldiev versus Dair Nergozai. Some tough names that are going to come out of this card for sure, but we got Sadibaldiev is 8-1 and Nergozai's 10-1. So both these guys only have one loss, and they're both their only losses are in the UFC. So they're both 0-1 in the UFC, looking for their first UFC win, starting off the prelim card for UFC Shanghai. Next up, we got Long Zhao versus Su Young Yu. Yeah, and I mean, I honestly don't know a lot of these guys on this card. I think I've seen both of these guys fight maybe once. Zhao is 1-1 in the UFC. Yu is 2-0. So he's going to extend that record to 3-0 in the UFC and continue being undefeated, while Zhao is looking to make it 2-1. He's coming off of a win over Quang Li. And then Yu is on that 2-fight win streak with wins over AJ Cunningham and Bjorngang Jalasi. I'm gonna struggle with these names tonight. It's gonna suck. But so yeah, moving on. That's your fight in the men's bantamweight division. Next up, we have Yiza versus Weston Wilson. The easiest name so far. In the men's featherweight division, Yiza is 25-5 overall, 0-2 in the UFC. Weston Wilson 17-9 overall, 1-2 in the UFC. So you got some losing records going on here in the bottom of the prelims, but possibilities for big fights with these guys in the featherweight division for that one. Yiza is coming off a loss, obviously, because he's 0-2. And how's it say? Hold on, he's 0-2. Oh, there it is. Okay, so yeah, he's got the 2 losses, coming off a loss to Gabriel Santos. And then Weston Wilson is 1-2, coming off his first win in the UFC. Jekka Seringe, he had a submission there in the first round. So we got some pretty decent matchups going on there in the beginning of the prelims, and then we get to Michel Pereira versus Kyle Dawkins. Definitely feeling Sterling now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's more in light for Sterling than it is Ortega, being that he had that hard of a weight cut. Because I'm sure he was trying. Is it 3 or 5 rounds? So that's the thing. I heard 5 rounds. I don't know if they'll change it now, but the last thing I heard was 5 rounds. So that could make a difference if they change it to 3 because of the hard weight cut, which I could see them doing, but I don't know that they've really done that before. So I think it's going to be 5 rounds. That might be good overall. So we got Michel Pereira versus Kyle Dawkins. Pereira's 31-3 overall, 9-4 in the UFC. Dawkins 15-4 overall, 2-4 in the UFC. So last week we had a bunch of fighters with a lot of fights, and this week we have some fighters with a lot of fights, but a lot of these guys have losing records. But Pereira is coming off of 2 losses. He's 0-2 in his past 2 fights against Abus Magomedov by unanimous decision, and then, well, he lost to Fluffy Hernandez. So I understand, but he made it to the 5th round with him. So he got a TKO loss. His last win was in 2024, where he had a performance of the night bonus against Ihor Pretoria. Actually, his last 3 fights before that all had performance of the night bonuses. Mikhail Zaechuk and Andre Petrosky, all finishes for him there, TKO and 2 subs. And then he gets TKO'd and then a unanimous decision in the 2 losses. So He's due for a win, and when he wins, he finishes fights and gets performance bonuses. So this could be a good fight here in the middle of the prelim cards. And then his opponent is Kyle Dawkins. He's on a 2-fight win streak. Oh no, I'm sorry. He's coming from CFFC, where he won 2 in a row there. His last fight in the UFC was 2022. He was on a 2-fight losing streak there, with losses against Eric Anders and Roman Dolidze. Not bad opponents there. Before that, though, he had a win over Jamie Pickett with a performance of the night bonus. So he fought some pretty big names in the UFC when he was fighting here earlier in the 20s. So he was 21, 2020. Yeah. From 2020 to 2022, he was in the UFC. And he fought some pretty decent names: Roman Dolidze, Jamie Pickett, Eric Anders, Kevin Holland, Phil Haas, Dustin Stoltzfus, and Brendan Allen. A lot of big names, actually. So we'll see how he does against Michel Pereira. Oh, shit. Fabian Edwards just knocked out Rasta. Holy fuck. And Leon Edwards just jumped in the cage and almost tackled his brother. That was an insane knockout. I just caught the very end. I think it was a kick, but I only saw the very end. So it might not have been. Wow. Fabian Edwards is like on the ground, rolling around, emotional as shit. Wow, that was crazy. And I just realized PFL has the gloves like I said the UFC should have done them. So they have the black gloves with the PFL in gold instead of the fucking gloves all gold looking stupid like the UFC tried to do when they did their new gloves. That's what I said the UFC should have done, was kept them all black but made the UFC in gold. It looks sharp on the PFL gloves. I like it. And Rasta's already up and walking around, coming to it looks like Edwards' arm is maybe fucked up. I don't know. This is why I don't watch fights live normally unless I'm doing a watch party, because then I get okay, here's the replay. Let me see what happened. Edwards it was a kick. Ooh, head kick. Knocked him, fucking dropped him, and came up with one shot on the ground. Yeah, just standing fucking kick, left high kick to the head. Shades of Leon Edwards. Holy fuck. His bro gave him that confidence. Damn. Folded Rasta. Not as bad as Usman got folded. Here's the ref cam. Ooh, that was fucking nasty. Hell of a win for Fabian Edwards, though. Damn. If y'all aren't watching this, you missed out, because this was on ESPN Plus, by the way. But yeah, that was a hell of a knockout. Holy shit. Wow. Okay. Back to UFC Shanghai. Pereira versus Dawkins could be a really damn good fight in the middle of this prelim card. So yeah, I'll be looking out for highlights on that one, because I doubt I'll be awake for that one. Moving on, though, we got Rong Zhu versus Austin Hubbard. Another potentially really good fight. Actually, the rest of these fights on the prelims are damn good. Those first three, little questionable, but starting with Pereira and Dawkins, now we got Rong Zhu versus Austin Hubbard. And Rong Zhu's 2-3 in the UFC, 26-6 overall. Hubbard is 16-9 overall, 4-7 in the UFC. Austin Hubbard's one of those guys, though. He's not super high level. He's got some, he's got some talent, but I don't know how he's gonna match up against Rong Zhu. Rong Zhu's coming off a win by unanimous decision over Cody Steele, but that was a fight of the night back in February. Before that, he had a loss to Chris Padilla. So yeah, Rong Zhu has potential to make this exciting. And Austin Hubbard, he's a dog, man. He's definitely durable, but he does take a lot of damage all the time, it seems like. And he lost his last two fights again by split decision, so hard-fought losses. But Markel Medeiros was his last one, and then Alexander Hernandez before that. So in his last 4 fights, he's 1-3. The only win being by unanimous decision over Mikhail Figlak. That was back in April of last year. So, I mean, this has potential to be a good one, too, in the men's lightweight division. And then we got Loner Kavanaugh versus Charles Johnson. This one is... I like this fight a lot. Loner Kavanaugh is undefeated, 9-0, 2-0 in the UFC. Charles Johnson is a dog, though, 6-5 in the UFC, 17-7 overall. Charles Johnson's an exciting fighter, but obviously Loner Kavanaugh being undefeated. He's, you know, definitely got some clout around him. He won his only two fights in UFC by unanimous decision over Jose Ochoa and Felipe Dos Santos. He was on the Contender series where he got a TKO win there to get into the UFC. But a lot of his fights go to decision, it looks like. But I mean, he's got potential, and we've seen some good things out of him. And then Charles Johnson is his opponent, and he is coming off of a loss to Ramazan Tamirov by unanimous decision. But before that, he had a 4-fight win streak going. 2 of those 4 fights with performance of the night and fight of the night bonuses against Joshua Van. He beat Joshua Van and had a performance of the night bonus there with a 3rd round TKO over Van. He beat Sumadarji, who's on this card as well, by unanimous decision. He beat Jake Hadley and then Azat Maksum, where he got a fight of the night bonus. So yeah, he goes on streaks, because before that he had a 3-fight losing streak. 2 of those were big names though, Cody Durden and Ode Osborne, all by decision. So this one could go all 3 rounds, but it has potential, and I like this fight. So we'll be on the lookout for that one. Oh man, they're showing that Edwards KO again. Vincent Song catch weight. Oh, you're talking for the which fight? Are you talking about the fight I just said, Kavanaugh and Johnson? Or are you see, I missed the fucking I missed the weigh-ins. I totally forgot that they were on earlier, and I haven't been keeping up because I've been busy, and then I just jumped in here. So yeah, let me know what catch weight. What are you talking about, catch weight, Vincent? Are you talking about the Eljo and Ortega fight, or are you talking about Loner Kavanaugh and Charles Johnson? Because that's the fight I just talked about. But anyway, moving on. Last prelim, we got Mahashate versus Gage Young. He said, yeah. All right. Welcome in, Vincent, though. I appreciate that. So we got Mahashate versus Gage Young in the lightweight division. Mahashate is 2-3 in the UFC, 10-4 overall. Young is 0-1 in the UFC, 9-3 overall. Mahashate is coming off a loss to Nicholas Moda. So it looks like this is a card full of guys with losing records, it seems like, in the UFC, at least for the most part. That's what seems to be coming up a lot. But damn, Edwards with that new PFL championship bout, that looks pretty good. All gold with that belt, it's pretty nice. And then we got Young coming off a loss to Evan Elder. That's his only fight in the UFC. He lost in the Contender series to Quillian Sell, killed though. Went out into FAC and got a win, and now he's in the UFC looking for his first UFC win. That brings us to the main card, finally, after I took a bunch of time on the prelims. But we had some interactions, and we had some distractions with the PFL and the weight cut issues. So moving back into UFC Shanghai, we got the main card here. Some more fucking tough names to say. Tayalaki Nuraji, I think. Making his UFC debut, 11-1 overall, 24 years old, against Kiefer Crosby, 10-5 overall, 0-2 in the UFC. Again, with the losing records, like I was saying. Look at that, 10-1 in KO TKOs for Nuraji, 1-0 by sub, and no decisions, wins, or losses. He's on a 5-fight win streak outside of the UFC, coming in for his UFC debut. And then you got Kiefer Crosby, who hasn't done very well in the UFC so far. He's 2-3 by KO TKO, 3-0 by sub, and 0-1 by decision. He's on a 2-fight losing streak, obviously, because he's 0-2 in the UFC. Let's take a look at Nuraji's coming in. Let's see, where was he at before this? Looks like he was in Shui Combat 1. So yeah, I mean, he's got TKO, sub, TKO, TKO, TKO in his last 5 fights. 4 out of the last 5 have been TKO wins, and 1 by sub. So he's definitely going to be looking to finish this on the feet. He was in that road to the UFC, and those don't come up on here. So, but yeah, he's fighting Kiefer Crosby, and I feel like this is going to be leaning in his direction for sure. because Crosby, like I said, hasn't been doing so well. He got subbed in his last 2 fights against Kevin Gisette and Sam Patterson, both first round submission losses for Kiefer Crosby. So yeah, I mean, he fought Aaron Chalmers and got a decision win there in a Kingpin high stakes tournament. But yeah, I mean, he hasn't really done much. Before that 2-fight losing streak in the UFC, he was on a 3-fight win streak. Oh, that was a boxing match against Chalmers. I just realized that. But in MMA, he was, he had 2 wins before he came in and got 2 losses in the UFC. So this is gonna be a tough one for him, especially with Nuraji coming in a big way like he is right now. So 11-1 overall. Seems like he's got some good hands going on. I didn't watch the road to the UFC, so I guess we'll have to wait and see how he does. This will be my introduction to him, but yeah, it's looking like a lean in his way. Moving on to Sumadarji versus Kevin Borjas. This should definitely be a fun fight. Sumadarji 17-7 overall, 4-4 in the UFC. Again, 500 records or under. It seems like it's a lot of what's going on this card. But look at that, 13-0 by KO TKO. So this boy likes to stand and bang. That's for sure. 13-0, fuck. And then 1-6 by sub. That's not good. And 3-1 by decision. So he is coming off a win. And then you got Kevin Borjas, 10-3 overall, 1-2 in the UFC, 8-1 by KO TKO, 0-1 by sub, and 2-1 by decision. He's coming off a win as well. Let's take a look at who they're coming off of wins off of. Mitch Raposo, split decision win for Sumadarji. Before that, he was on a 3-fight losing streak with losses to Charles Johnson, Tim Elliott, and Matt Schnell. He did get a fight of the night bonus against Matt Schnell where he got subbed. He also got subbed by Tim Elliott and then a unanimous decision loss to Charles Johnson. Before that, though, he was on a 3-fight win streak. He had 1 bonus in there as well. So he mixes it in with the wins and losses, but as you saw, the KO and TKO column is pretty big for Sumadarji. So we can look for him to be trying to get a win on the feet on this one. And then you have Kevin Borjas with the unanimous decision win over Ronaldo Rodriguez back in March of this year. He had 2 losses in a row before that, one by TKO to Alexandro Costa, and then Joshua Van, he lost by unanimous decision. And then Borjas is coming from Contender Series as well. So he fought in Contender Series. Oh, he had 2 previous fights, but they were canceled. So yeah, I mean, I feel like this should be a good fight for sure on the main card. And that brings us to the big boys. Sergey Pavlovich versus Waldo Cortez Acosta, happening in the heavyweight division. And yeah, I don't know what to think about this one, because we got Pavlovich, who's good on his feet, and then you got Cortez Acosta, who's shown us some stuff on his feet, but also has a good ground game. And yeah, he's a decision machine right now. But yeah, this has potential to be a great fight. I mean, look at Pavlovich has 0-0 by sub, while Cortez Acosta is only 1-0. I know he has a good game on the ground with the grappling and wrestling. Let's see. Hold on one second. Yeah, something in my mouth from that pouch I had in there. Anyway, 19-3 overall for Pavlovich, 7-3 in the UFC, 15-2 by KO TKO. Yeah, it's a good amount of wins there. 4-1 by decision, as I said, 0-0 by submission, coming off a win. We got Cortez Acosta, 14-1 overall, 7-1 in the UFC, 6-0 by KO TKO, 1-0 by sub, 7-1 by decision. He's on a 5-fight win streak. Hasn't been finished yet. He's only lost by decision and only has 1 loss. So that's interesting for Pavlovich, who, you know, has a few losses, and but he has a lot of KO TKO wins, the most out of everything. And he's going to be looking to stop Cortez Acosta on the feet. He's coming off a win over Jairzinho Rozenstruik, which I believe was the last fight Rozenstruik had in the UFC back in February of this year. Before that, he was on a 2-fight losing streak with losses to Volkov and Tom Aspinall, who's the current champ. But I mean, Pavlovich has big wins with bonuses against Curtis Blades, Tai Tuivasa, and Shamil Abdurakhimov. I think I said that right. All performance of the night bonuses, and then a win in between there as well with a TKO over Derek Lewis in the first round. So he also beat Maurice Green and Marcelo Golm. He's got a lot of bonuses, and yeah, a lot of those wins being on the feet. So that's what we're going to be looking to see coming from Pavlovich against Cortez Acosta, who is on a fight win streak with wins over Sergey Spivak, Ryan Spann, Robelis Despain, Andrei Arlovsky, and Lucas Brzeski. Some pretty fucking good names on there. Obviously, we know Arlovsky's been out of the UFC since 24, and he wasn't doing so great in there, but still a big name. Brzeski, Robelis Despain did not do well in the UFC. It's a big name, but not really in the UFC, so I can't give him much on that one. Ryan Spann and then Sergey Spivak. 3 out of those 5 wins were by decision, all unanimous for Pavlovich, and then he had a TKO win over Spann and a TKO win over Brzeski. His last loss was to Marcos Rogerio de Lima by unanimous decision. That one's tough because I think de Lima, I was gonna say he's kind of like Cortez, but not really. So yeah, Pavlovich gonna be looking to keep this one on the feet for sure. Cortez Acosta has those wins over Brzeski and yeah, everybody else. I just double clicked on what I was looking at already. I'm getting lost here. I need to turn off this TV because it's distracting me. The fight's over anyway. So that was PFL. Fabian Edwards with the big win. But yeah, in this one, I'm not sure who I'm leaning on this one because again, it's kind of a toss-up. Like I said, they can both fight on their feet. But I think Cortez Acosta has more of a ground game than Pavlovich does. And he also wins more by decision than anything. So I feel like it has potential to be a good fight, but it could also get very boring if it winds up on the ground and Cortez Acosta kind of, skates by. We'll see what happens. So Pavlovich is going to be looking to come in and finish it on the feet and do it early, I think. But shit, these two could bang it out and go blow for blow on it. And you never know. It could turn into a hell of a heavyweight fight for sure. Next up, the fight we've been talking about quite a bit already. Brian Ortega versus Aljamain Sterling was a featherweight fight. Now sounds like it turned into a catchweight / possible lightweight fight. Who knows at this point? We'll find out more after this, but just know the fight's still on as of right now. As long as Ortega doesn't have any other issues with the weight cutting stuff. Hopefully he didn't go so hard that it's going to affect him too much in the fight. I was looking forward to this fight, like I said. So I'm happy it's still on, but we'll see what kind of effects it takes because it's in a different weight class. I don't think Sterling will have a problem, but we'll see how Ortega is after that hard weight cut. So we got Brian Ortega versus Aljamain Sterling. 16-4 for Ortega, 8-4 in the UFC, 3-2 by KO TKO, 8-0 by sub. That's a good one right there. 5-2 by decision. He is coming off a loss. Same with Sterling, 16-5 in the UFC, 8-0 by KO TKO, 12-3 by sub, 1-0 by decision. So yeah, if you look at those 3 columns there, KO TKO, Sterling's never been finished on the feet, which is weird. I thought he had been. Wasn't Sean O'Malley? Did they not consider that? Or did I mess this one up? Let me look. Yeah, I did. I messed this one all up. 24-5. Okay, hold on. I messed up this is what happens because I was in a hurry and I did not double check this. So let's go to Ortega. I'm going to look at Aljamain Sterling's 3-2 by KO TKO, 8-0 by sub, 12-3 by decision. So that makes more. He's 24-5 overall and 16-5 in the UFC. So that was right. I think I just messed up some of those numbers, but that's all right. So let's see, we're at Brian Ortega now. That top left picture was when he had Volkanovski in that nasty guillotine, almost finishing him to win the championship, but he didn't quite get it. Volkanovski, man, he barely edged that one out. You could see the veins in his head popping out. But since then, I mean, Ortega's just been, he got beat on by Diego Lopez while he landed some shots of his own. That's the loss he's coming off of by unanimous decision. And I mean, Lopez basically knocked him out on the feet, and then before Ortega dropped to the ground, he kicked him again and woke his ass back up. So yeah, he got beat the fuck up in that fight. And Ortega's just taking a lot of damage. I mean, before Lopez, though, he won against Yair Rodriguez with the submission in the third round, and that was a performance of the night bonus. He got a fight of the night bonus with this fight against Volkanovski, because obviously it was a crazy fight where Ortega almost had the sub. If Volkanovski wasn't so tough, man, he might have got that title. It's crazy. But he did lose to Yair Rodriguez once too because of that shoulder injury he had in the first round in their first fight. And then comes back and gets a performance of the night bonus with a submission over Yair. So yeah, you know, he's got the skills on the ground. We know that. I mean, he can hang on the feet a bit, but not as much. You know, he gets hit a lot. And while we know Aljo can hit, he's got hands, but you know, he's got submissions too. So this could turn into a crazy ground game fight, with a lot of transitions and submission attempts, which could be exciting with these two because, you know, it could be higher paced, not going to be just lay and pray type shit. I know a lot of people don't like Aljamain Sterling, but he's got a lot of talent. He was a champ for a reason. He defended multiple times. So you can't hold a lot against him. I know people just, it was rubbed him the wrong way with the way he won the title and all that. But he's coming off a loss to Movsar Evloev, which a lot of people thought he actually might have won that fight. So it's a tough one that he took that L on. But before that, he had that big win against Kelvin Cater, which you see in that right hand picture where he just kind of fucking threw him on his head. A lot of grappling matches in here since he lost to Sean O'Malley. But you can see that win over Henry Cejudo in that left-hand picture. Before he lost the title, he defended his belt against Cejudo for his third title defense. And then he lost to Sean O'Malley. So then he moved up. So it gave Merab, his teammate, a chance to go and fight for the belt, which he did, and he won. So yeah, I think Aljo versus Ortega is going to be a good one. But we'll just have to wait and see what that weight cut did to Ortega and how much it's going to affect him. So that brings us to the main event. We got Johnny Walker versus Zhang Ming Yang, or Ming Yang Zhang, whichever way you want to say it. Johnny Walker's 21-9 overall, 7-6 in UFC, 16-6 by KO TKO, 3-1 by sub, 2-2 by decision. He's coming off of 2 losses. Zhang is 19-6 overall, 3-0 in the UFC, 13-3 by KO TKO, 6-2 by sub, and 0-1 by decision. He's on a 3-fight win streak, which makes this a awkward kind of matchup considering Walker's on a 2-fight losing streak and Zhang is on a 3-fight win streak. I don't get it. Although, could be for an interesting matchup. I'm leaning more towards Zhang on this one, just because we know how Johnny Walker is. It's kind of wishy-washy on some of his fights, and especially coming off of 2 losses. Volkan Ozdemir and Magomed Ankalaev, those are 2 tough opponents though. Zhang is, you know, doing well right now. I don't know if he's at that level yet, but he's getting there. He also had a no contest against Magomed Ankalaev before that loss he took to him. So, but before all that, he was on a 3-fight win streak with wins over Ian Cutelaba, Paul Craig, and Anthony Smith. 3 guys who kind of fight like he does, where it's like wins, loss type shit. He lost to Jamal Hill. That was that awkward, weird, like falling backward kind of TKO loss he had to Jamal Hill. So he did get a performance of the night bonus win with his win over Ian Cutelaba, where he got a submission there. He TKO'd Paul Craig and then had a unanimous decision against Anthony Smith, which you see in that right-hand picture there. And then we got Zhang, coming off of a 3-fight win streak, all performance of the night bonuses, and he also beat Anthony Smith in his last fight. Got a TKO win over Anthony Smith, got a TKO win over Ozzy Diaz, and then a TKO win over Bretson Ribeiro. So all 3 performance of the night bonuses, all 3 TKO wins, all 3 in the first fucking round. So yeah, I would say lean towards Zhang here, because Johnny Walker is not that type of fighter to be able to hang with all that. But maybe his experience in the cage and his awkward style with the high flying attacks and stuff like that will do well for him against Zhang. But I don't know. Looking at Zhang's opponents on top of what he's done to all of them, and the fact that he's gotten bonuses in each of his last 3 fights that he's won, it's tough, man. He hasn't lost since 2019, so he's on a pretty big win streak right now. In and out of the UFC total, it's 12 wins in a row. So yeah, I mean, 13 wins by KO TKO. He doesn't go to decision much. He's been there once, and it was a loss for him. So I don't see this going to distance. I think Zhang's gonna finish this one probably fairly early, because I don't know that Johnny Walker can hang with him if he's that kind of a striker, that kind of a fighter, and that kind of a finisher. So that does it for UFC Shanghai. Before we completely end it, let's take a look at what happened last week with the fight wheel predictions. And for UFC 319, we had Kaya Sakura was the fight wheel prediction to win, and he lost to Tim Elliott. We had Lerone Murphy beating Aaron Pico. That one was correct. Hamzat Chimaev beating Dricus du Plessis to win the title. That was correct. Carlos Prates to beat Jeff Neal. That was correct. And then Jared Cannonier to beat MVP, and that was wrong. So we had 2 out of the 5 incorrect. Not too bad for the fight wheel. So let's see what the fight wheel has for us this week. Let me clear these out real quick. Get rid of that. And then bring up the wheels so we can spin. All right, here we go. Fight wheel predictions for UFC Shanghai. Fight number 1. Let's see what the fight wheel predicts for the first fight. Oh, shit. Waldo Cortez Acosta to beat Sergey Pavlovich. I mean, I could see that happening. We'll put that in there. Waldo. Oops. I'm being dyslexic. WCA. There we go. Cortez Acosta to beat Pavlovich. That's your first fight wheel prediction of the night. Let's see who's next for UFC Shanghai in the main card. Second prediction. Main event. I think? No. It went to Nigeri to beat Kiefer Crosby, I think. Let me see. Nuraji to beat Kiefer Crosby, yeah. All right, so let me get that one written in here. Of course, I have to look at it because it is such a hard name to spell. So Nuraji to beat Kiefer Crosby. That's your second fight wheel prediction of the night for UFC Shanghai. Here's your third prediction. Let's see who gets the win. Oh shit. Co-main event. Brian Ortega, even though he struggled in the catch weight, and he, according to the fight wheel, is gonna win against Aljamain Sterling. We'll see how much we'll see how much that weight cut really affected him though. So 3 fights down, 2 to go. Let's see what's next for the fight wheel predictions. Still got the main event in there. And we got, oh shit, Johnny Walker to beat Zhang Ming Yang in the main event. I'm not sure that that's a good prediction. But you do what you will with these. Maybe it's just for entertainment. Maybe you put a parlay on it. Maybe you bet against all of these picks. Who knows? But totally random fight wheel predictions for UFC Shanghai, because I suck at picking. And it looks like Sumadarji is going to get the win over Kevin Borjas. That's a pretty good pick there. And that's it for your fight wheel predictions for UFC Shanghai. So we have Waldo Cortez Acosta to beat Sergey Pavlovich, Tailaki Naraji to beat Kiefer Crosby, Brian Ortega to beat Aljamain Sterling in the co-main event, Johnny Walker to beat Zhang Ming Yang in the main event, and then Sumadarji to beat Kevin Borjas. So I agree with some of those, not so much with others. But those are your fight predictions for the fight wheel or UFC Shanghai. And that does it for me. And that's it for the show. Because, yeah, we had some distractions with the PFL with the weight cutting issues. But I appreciate King Terzi for keeping me updated in there. Vincent Song throwing in some support as well. Infinity always supporting too. I appreciate you. Matua always jumping in with some funny stuff to say. So I appreciate you for that and all the interactions. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Make sure you hit the like, though, for sure, out of everything. You know, if you're here, you probably subscribed already, but if not, please do that too. If you like audio-only versions of podcasts, you can take a look at Spotify. I'm on there. Everywhere that you can get podcasts, really, for the audio-only version. But otherwise, just watch me here on YouTube. I appreciate that. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Send it to a friend. Help me out and help me grow the show. Appreciate you all. Thanks for the support. I'm out of here. Enjoy the fights. Don't forget, they're very early because they're happening in Shanghai. So go Google UFC events, and if your location is turned on, it'll tell you in your time zone what time the main card and the prelims are starting. So go check that out. That's it for me. I'm out of here. Take it easy. Peace.